Hi, I'm Nick Shell, and we're going to talk about a video that I made last night. I'm very proud of. I feel it's well received by you, the audience, you, the fellow brothers of the hair loss. The video I made, as you know, was called Proof I'm a Norwood 3, not Norwood 2. And our good friend Robert had this to say. He said, quote, "Through most of your 20s, you were still at a 2, with some very early and mild recession going on. Around 30, when the beginning and recession became a bit more pronounced, I think that's when you officially ventured into 3 territory. Just my opinion." End quote. Thank you, Robert. I agree 100% with your assessment. Of course, Robert has been following me long enough to have seen the several videos I made in which I show you pictures of me through various ages and stages of my life, especially starting at age 21, where you can see where it very slowly has been occurring, this very slow process of my hair loss journey. Now, as I read this, here's the pattern, because see, that's what I do. I come up with debatable theories, and you know, it's not about me being right or wrong. I don't care about that. I like to present new ideas and see if we can figure out new rules as far as how all this works. You know, because people want to ask questions like, well, how do I know if I'm going to lose my hair? Or, you know, what can I do to stop it? All these questions. Here's a theory I want to present based on me reading this. He says, though most of your 20s, you were still a Norwood 2, it goes on to say, around 30 is when you ventured more into the 3 territory. Now, again, I'm wired to look at patterns and consistencies. You already see where I'm going with this. The theory I want to present is this: that at Norwood 1, that's to indicate that you are in your teens. Teens. Norwood 2 is more what you experience in your 20s. Norwood 3 in your 30s, and so on. Now, I haven't looked into the history of the Norwood scale. To my understanding, there's no interesting Netflix documentary available that I can watch tonight. But I've never heard this said out loud before, so I'm going to say it out loud. Does the Norwood scale work this way? That the numbers match up to the age that most people experience that? For example, I would be the epitome of how the Norwood scale would work, because into my 30s is when I started venturing into Norwood 3. Into my 20s is basically when I started Norwood 2. And granted, technically I think it was more like 18, but is that an ultimate way to predict what your hairline is going to look at that decade of your life? I mean, if that is the case, then no one's ever mentioned that before, amazingly, to me at least. And also, it's going to be a good indication of what I can expect for my own future based on the Norwood scale, because I seem to be spot on with my hair loss as far as the Norwood scale matching up to the decade of my life. Because actually, I turn 36 next month. It's a little over a month from now, I'll turn 36. So that means I'll have, in theory, about 4 more years until I'm venturing into Norwood 4, where this peninsula becomes an island and it starts thinning even more. And then at that point, we can finally know that that's when I finally start buzzing my hair off as a permanent thing. Because for me, I don't want to live as a Norwood 4 with hair. I mean, that's not a suicidal thing. I don't want to continue having hair with as a Norwood 4. I want to buzz it off at that point. That's my personal choice based on what I will feel comfortable and confident with. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I'll make it to about 40, and then it's going to be getting obvious that at that point I will officially be transitioning into Norwood 4, because it was so predictable. I mean, my 30th birthday, I looked in the mirror, I saw the island starting, I saw the thinning starting, and I thought, okay, well, this sounds about right. And that's the thing. For me personally, the Norwood scale has been incredibly accurate as far as predicting all of this, and as far as what you would expect for a guy going through hair loss at what age. Because, I mean, people have commented, for a guy who's 35, I'm pretty much right there on the average. Sure, I look pretty good right now, but again, if you saw the video I made last night showing proof that I'm a 3, you see how little hair I actually have compared to what it looks like I have now. So please tell me, am I right on this theory, or is this common knowledge already? That the Norwood scale ultimately is meant to reflect what the average European man is to expect on hair loss by basing up the scale to the age he is. So again, I went into Norwood 3 territory around my 30th birthday. 4 years from now, in theory, I'll enter Norwood 4. And whereas I entered Norwood 2, basically around 18, 19, really. Now, please hear me carefully. I am not saying that the Norwood scale predicts everyone's age. I'm saying for me, I'm saying because I'm so completely average on my hair loss that I'm the epitome of how in a perfect world that scale works. I am not saying it's that way for everybody. There are plenty of people who are Norwood 4 by their 21st birthday. I recognize that. And there are people, men in their 60s, that are still a Norwood 1, and I recognize that. I'm here to present to you that I'm the living epitome of Norwood scale. If you match it up to the number, make that the decade of their age. Now, please tell me more about this. I want to learn. Educate me. Because if we've stumbled into a theory or some way to predict things, then I want to talk more about this because I think this is worth talking about. But am I wrong or am I right? I don't know. Please inform me right here. I need to learn.